All right, welcome to another video, right? So in the last video, we had modeled some rails, and it did say that we're going to place the rails in this video. So without much talk, I just want to jump into the placement, right? So we'll go back to original model and let's save the previous model, right? So come back to original model. Let's do some arrangement here, right? So we know our rails are going to go here, right? And right, it's going to go there towards the end, right? And it's not going to terminate at the walls. It's going to terminate about 400 away from the wall, and we're going to have some pergola going on right there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and place in the rails and model the pergola, and then we're not going to go ahead and place the doors in this video. Then we'll now go ahead in the next video to model the staircase and the railings for the staircase. I guess it's still going to be the same concept, so we'll still maintain using the same rails. All right, so let me just look at the section for the staircase. All right, we would have to create a new rail for that, so but we'll do all that in the staircase video. All right, so let's just go ahead. All right, so I will pick this up and I'll just copy that, and I think that should work. I should be able to paste that. All right, I can do that that way. So what I will do is all right, so I would first of all, let me get rid of this, right? Let me delete all these guides, delete all the guides, get rid of this. Right, save, windows and doors. Right, so I'm just gonna move them a bit, just so that there are some spacings in between each element. Right. All right. So they're well positioned. All right. So I'm just gonna go ahead and import that. I think this will be the first time we'll be importing a document, right? Poof, 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 poof. All right. Okay. Model. All right. Building model, window doors, and rails. All right. So I'm just going to drop that right there, and I'll just go ahead and pick up my rails. Right. So I will consult I'll consult the this, right? So let's begin with this. So we could see with Dell, could see, right? So for the sake of dimension, I would go ahead and place this door. And the reason I'll place this door is so that I can use it to deduce distance and measurement, right? So I don't think this model contains, I don't think it actually contains, okay, I could start with this first. Let me start with this, right? So I can see, start from the long one, continues with this guy, all right? So I'll pick this guy up, I'll copy this guy, and I'll just come over here. And so that's the first floor, and the ground floor. So on the first floor, I'm just going to drop that right there. So it's just a couple of distance away from the edge. So I'm just going to measure 50, right? And I'll use that for my placement, right? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that away, not up, like just gonna move it away first, and I'll rotate that way. And I'm just gonna pick this up from here and move that Now here is where you see why I put that thing. Now it make it easy for me to place this, and voila, it's in the wall, right? Then I can pick up the next one, right? So I copy that, then I just paste that, and I think I'll just flip that. Start rotating it, that's too much logistics. Then I'll pick this up from here and I'll just move it halfway in, right? So it touches that line. And what that does is it fixes it in like this and replicates. See that? See that? Right. So this would now continue towards this direction, right? So I think for this, right? Uh, hmm, this is tricky. How do I know the distance from here to here? All right, so let's continue with this line. What I would do is I'm just generally going to scale this, right? It's a component, so it can take the scaling, right? So scale this. I'll measure 50 inwards as well from this guy. Then I'll scale that till now. Normally, I might not scale this, right? So sometimes some things are just worth scaling, right? Because if I don't scale it, I'm just gonna go ahead and struggle trying to adjust the model and all that. So that's not necessary. So I could just scale it like that, right? So I'll copy this as well. I'll just copy that. And the reason I didn't use these guys is because I already just scaled them now. And I wouldn't like to use the scaled version for these longer ones. All right, so I'll go back up here and I think where's that? I think that's this other side, right? So it starts with this long one, short, long, and scaled long. All right, so what I will do here is, I'll take the long one, I'll just bring it here, and I'm gonna rotate this to this axis, and I'm just gonna pick that up from there and marry it here. See how this makes life easy for me, right? See how that just perfectly fits, right? So I can do that, and then I copy that again and place it just halfway in again. Then I take this guy and I rotate 90 degrees, take him from that point and place. Wow, 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 wow. Looking good. All right. So I'll just kind of duplicate this. All right. And place that. All right. So, I did assume the height. So I did assume its width. So of course, if I had to scale this, that means this one will almost fit in perfectly right here without even scaling it, right? So you can see how the rails are done. All right, so all I just need now is the circular tube that goes all the way around. All right, that goes all the way around. All right, so this is just fine. I mean, I could scale this out further to ensure it gets to the pergola, but I can see I might not need to do that. All right, so but let's just be certain. All right, I'm just gonna come here. I'll pick up this door, copy that, and I'll just come out and paste, right? Paste that, and I will just rotate the door just to fit. All right, so I'll click there and I'll just move that, right? So I'm trying to move it from that tip so that it touches there, and See, because we modeled it to scale, there's no trying to, I think the only thing going on here is that the thing is higher than the door side. I think, let's see, what do we measure here? All right, so this is not exactly 2:1. This door height is not exactly 2:1. So what that means is, sorry, that's it 2:1, 2:4. Not exactly 2:4 high. I don't know why that is. Probably a mistake in my dimension. So I'm just gonna do 2:4 so that it will go that high. Because this was designed to be 2:4, I believe. It was designed to be 2:4. Yeah. So that's what happened there. So I'm just gonna adjust this door. I don't know why this was not that high, but might need to adjust that in some other places. So, but I'll just, having adjusted that, I move that, and it all fits in perfectly. All right, so I just need to verify sliding is opening in this direction. So that means it should open inward, right? It should open inward. So if it's opening inward, okay, this doesn't indicate it's opening inward. Let me check the schedule, right? Let me check the schedule. So the door schedule for, yeah, it opens inward. So if it opens inward, this is not how it should be. It should be flipped, right? So if I flip it along its axis, along the green axis, just looking for the green axis. So that should be, now it flipped, it should open inwards, right? So now that being said, I can now gauge this, right? I can gauge this and align this with this image, right? And the reason I'm just trying to gauge, I'm trying to see where my pergola will start and end, and I can see it's just perfect. It's just okay. All right, so I don't need to scale this guy again. So all I need to do now is I would have to draw that thing. All right, so how I would do that now is uh, like you see, I already have this line going on here. So what I would do is I'll just take my line tool, and then from the middle point of this line, I'll just draw all through, right, to this middle point, then to this point right here. Okay, I will use this last one. Yeah. Okay, that's the green axis. So I'm just going to draw it to the green axis to the very end of this, right? So what did I do that for? That's for my follow me tool. So I'm just going to measure this line from this top down, and I measure it down to touch this thing. So I'll press the up button, measure it down, and I'll make it about 30. I think 30 is fine. What that means is I'll make the radius from here as big as this, so that it will cover through. So when I when I double click this to select the whole, okay, not, I triple click that, select everything, and I click on this with the follow me tool. I click on this circle, it will just, see that, perfect. So that's a reversed face. I'll put that back, and I make that a group, and I just pour this material onto that, and we're done. That's all for the railings, right? It's not rocket science, pretty much simple stuff, right? So I just showed you different approach to that, and you see how these lines kind of help, right? So one other thing you can do is, since it's a component, right, so you could just adjust the line, you could group it, make it a group, so call it guide. I think that's what I'll do. I'll call it guide, and then I can hide it, right? So when I want to move it again, I come back to it and ungroup it, and sorry, not ungroup it, I come back to that. So I just triple click that to select the whole lines, I make it a group, and I call it guides. Right, so it's not going to affect my file, it's just going to be called this here, and I can go ahead and hide it. Right, so I think I have an unnamed member right there. I'll call that vertical. All right, so I'll just take that and oops, oops. All right, so I'll do the same thing here. I'll call that vertical. Right, so you can see the guides. Okay, I forgot to hide that after grouping it. Right, so I grouped it. Have I grouped it here? Yes, it's called guide here, so I just hide that. So you can see if you group those guides, and you can easily just hide them, and makes life easy for you. That's like a cheat code, right? So what else do we have to do? Right, so let's go ahead and place our doors and windows, or not yet. We're supposed to do the pergola, right? So let's do the pergola. Right, so the pergola is a very simple and straightforward. I can see the thickness, it's looking like maybe 40 or 50. Yeah, it looks same thickness all through, so it extends even to this point. All right, so we have two by two by two. That's like four parts of it. So um it's really simple when you look at it, right? Just very simple. So it's 100. So I just say 40 by 100, 40 by 100 piece. I mean, that's like a one size wood. So I'll just do 40 by 100, right? So since I'll just look at this, all right, so it starts from here. So I'll do 40 by 100. So that's 100 by 40, right? That's literally it. And then I just push pull that all the way up. I don't know where it ends, but let's see. It ends just above that. Let me see the plan, right? So just a little bit above this, maybe like 400. Let's see. Let me bring this down to the door height first. Okay, it seems when I flip this door, it both punched it out. Right, that's actually supposed to be, yeah, brushed bunched it out. Right, so but this is now as high as the door, so I'll add an extra height of about 400. Right, so that should be fine for the height. So I'll just group that. I'll call it blank, right? So I would move this. Let's create a space of 50, and then I'll move this again, duplicating that. Then I'll create a space of 50 again. All right, so you see that whole planky thing. This is just little really simple stuff, right? So and okay, instead of creating a space of 50, since it takes the same space of this wood, that means it's not going to be 50, it's going to be 40, since it's going to be the same size. So I'm just going to push this back towards there by 10, and then I'm going to close this towards here by 10. So I close this 10, so that makes this hold 40, and this place is also supposed to be 40, so I'm going to close that by 10. You see the logic, right? So I just looked at it and I can tell this wood is the same section for this wood as this wood. Right, so this is 40 by 100, 40 by 100, 40 by 100. All of them are 40 by 100. So this one is the same space that will go through. So that means the spacing between here should be able to accommodate just this wood. The spacing between here should be able to accommodate just this wood. All right. So that's just the logic behind what I just did right now. And I did not do that pre-video. I just did that live on this video. All right. So I would also move this. I'll duplicate these guys. Let me just group them. I make this a group bunch. I just call it bunch, right? So bunch of blank, right? Bunch of blank one. So I'll just move that again, right? Copy move, and I'll just move it such that it ends at this very it ends at this very object space, right? This is fine. This is all right. Okay, now let's see. The next wood doesn't go higher than this, so it's just 100 down. All right, so that's, I just measure this downwards 100, right? Then I'll just draw a rectangle. Then let's see, it comes out by maybe like 100 again. So I'll draw this into the wall and bring it out by 100. See that? Just replicating what I'm seeing here, right? So I'll group that, and I'll still call this plank. Maybe I'll call this horizontal plank, H plank, right? I'm just using weird naming conventions, right? So so this H plank now, I'll move it from here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If I counted that right. Now that means I have 13 planks in between this point and this point. So I'm just going to move that to this point. Then I'll now do divided by 13. What that means is I want you to move 13 planks in between the distance from where I started moving it to this point, and evenly space them out. So if I do that, divided by 13 and press enter, it brings out 13, should bring out 13 planks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, I should do divided by 12 because I already had one existing. So I do divided by 12 instead of that. So that's 13. So now it spaces them well. All right. So one problem with this, okay, there's no problem. They are just individual planks, so it's not a component, right? It's not a component right now. So they are not components. Usually I make these things as components so that when I'm adjusting one, it affects all of them. But I don't really see why I need to make it as a component. It's not really necessary, right? Because I'll just pour one material in everything, all right? So the same way I come down here, and if you look at this picture again, you see there's one plan going through this way and a plan going through this way. You see this pergola thing is very simple, right? So then I can now come down and measure this by 100, and then measure another 100, right? Another 100 down. Then I draw a rectangle through there, and I push it all the way through to get to this plank, right? And extend by extra 100 like I did the other one, and then also come to this side, extend by extra 100. All right, then I group it, I call it, I make group, and I still call it H plank. H plank. It's still the same, plank. H, I'll just give it double H. All right, so just so I know that this is the inverted H plank, the other axis, right? So with this, I could just duplicate this and take it to the wall, right, along the red axis till it touches the wall. And you see, it's not rocket science. I am done modeling that thing. You see, that's why we started the way we started in this course. We started modeling basic shapes, so you can see how simple it was to model this pergola. All right, so the main thing there is to just look at your model, look at it very well. It's nothing complicated. It's nothing crazy going on there. It's just the simple modeling things, just little things here and there. You put them together and you have your stuff going on. All right, so the last thing we'll do in this video is to go ahead and place the windows and the doors. Place the windows and the doors. So I'll begin with placing windows. All right, I'll just go begin replacing the windows, right? So first thing I want to do is, instead of leaving this in a group, I would explode this. I want to explode this, and my reason for exploding that is so that the components can come out where they are, how they are. All right, so I will make two orientations for them, right? Now the reason I want to do this is because I want to make placing easy, right? So I will duplicate this again, right? So I'll delete them when I'm done because I will need them when I'm done, right? So I'll duplicate this again and rotate it, right? I'll just rotate it 90 degrees, right? So you see why I'm doing that shortly, right? So why I'm doing that is so that I can just easily pick it and put it where I need it, right? So like I need one here, need one right here. So all right, so I need one right here. I think I'm having some light challenges, but let me continue. So I need one right here, right? So I just click on that and I pick it up and place it. Then I need around another one around the other side. So I'll just pick this and place it right there. Duplicate place, right? So I want to flip that. So this distance between here and here is 25. So right, let me just all right. So it was modeled in a duplicate manner, so I can just move it that way without having challenges, right? So that, then I move this again, duplicated. Oh my god, I didn't do that. All right, so see one thing here. So I actually moved this instead of duplicating it. So I will copy this and undo. Then I will now come here and do paste in place. Now, all right, so just some power issues, right? So okay, we'll continue with our placement, right? So for this window, we can just pick this and place that right there, right? Duplicate, place, pick that again, and duplicate, place that. All right, so we'll fix all this later, right? So let's just place every other thing. Let's place. All right, so we have this guy. So I already have one right here. So what I can do is I will move this, and the reason I'm moving this way I'm doing it is just so I can easily just place them without the struggles of positioning, right? So I can pick that out from there and put that right there. All right, so where else do I need that kind of window? I think that's the only place that window. Okay, there's one here, so I'll take from here and take this edge as my reference point and place that right there, right? So you can see I didn't do cleanup here in this model, so but we'll come to all this kind of cleanups later. All right, so I can see another window here, and I need to put, so this window is wall height 19. All right, so all the upstairs 19 windows are this one, right? So I'll pick this and I'll place that right there. So I have for this side, so I will take this and move this to this other side, right? And then I'll rotate it. I'll rotate that, then I'll take out the window itself and place it on that point. All right, so what else do I need to note? Okay, this window down here is the same 1.9 window, but the one without, right? So I could just take this and rotate. You see how I'm just maneuvering this thing? It's just so that I can place it easily, right? So you could just pick your window and put it right there without all this, rotation I'm doing, stuff like that. So, but I just found it easier to place windows this way, right? So then the down window, right? So we have these two. So this is the remaining two down there. So I'll just pick that out. Now I'm just duplicating them, and I'm just duplicating them just because I'm still doing my placement, just in case I need it somewhere else, even though I know there's no other place I need that, but just in case, right? So I pick that window and I take up from the reference point of that corner, and I take this, take up from this reference point, and instead of copying or moving that, I'll copy, move, so that I can just duplicate this. Sorry, no, not duplicate. I can rotate this for that outside, and then I could pick up the window, right? So this is just one beautiful thing about modeling these things yourself. See how everything is coming alive. All right, so this part of this house, I do not think, or I do not know. All right, so okay, there's nothing going on there. I can see it from the elevation, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead. When I was modeling it, it looked like there was a see-through glass going on there, but there's nothing going on there. I've seen that. So let me just fix this. I just fix this from here. I think if that's showing there, then I might want to check the inside of the house as well. Okay, seems everything there is cool. All right, so my light was just having some issues just a while back. That's why I had to pause the video. All right, so you can see generally we have that there. All right, so let's get this door. So I'm just gonna pick the door from up there and bring it. Okay, I won't do that. I think I have this door in this direction here. So if I pick that from there, that should do, right? I should do copy, and I drop that. All right, so it's supposed to open inwards. So I'll use the flip to flip it to ensure, flip it around the green axis to ensure it opens inward. All right, so that's that. All right, so I'm done with all the windows, so I could get rid of them. I could actually get rid of all this Windows stuff, right? I could delete that. All right, so I already placed a copy of each of them, so I don't really need it in the model space any longer. Besides, another thing I'd like to point out is that even if I were to delete all of them, it's not gone. They're all in the components tab, right? So when I'm teaching tips and tricks, I always think I might still cover this, right? So, but you see our model, our outline is getting a little bit more messy, but we'll fix all those, right? Fix all those. Let's just keep placing. Keep placing. When we're done placing, we'll group things properly. All right. So when you import your models from Sketch, warehouse, or I think I didn't group all these guys. I didn't group these guys. Let me just go ahead and group them like so. All right. Make sure that's all I have selected, and make group blanks S, and then I'll just go ahead and select this, right? Select all that, and I'll just call it Pergola. Pergola. Maybe that's how they spell it. I don't know. Not sure, but that's the Pergola. All right. So all the exterior stuff has been put in place. So what I'll do is let me group these guys, right? So I'll select all this, select all that, and make group and call that rails, right? Then okay, Pergola rails. So I'll just call this balcony. I'll group them. Call it balcony. Balcony, right? This stuff's a balcony. All right, so I can hide that now. I think I can get rid of this line now. Don't need that. So I'll go ahead and select all the windows, right? Select all the windows in the model, every single one of them, pick all of them, and I would right click and make group, call them windows, right? So, right, so my roof, small roof, big roof, that's all roof, right? So I'll make group and I'll call that roof, right? So I'm just tidying up, right? So, okay, all right. I can now go ahead and place my internal doors. So I will select this and I'll call this external doors. Call this external doors. External doors, right? Then let me hide this. All right. See, as your model becomes busy, the whole thing gets it gets kind of laggy, right? So external doors, I'll go ahead and start placing the other doors, right? So this is 900, so I can pick this up from here and place this right here because this should be 900. All right. Then picture that 900, generate a 900 door that is oriented in that angle. I think that's all that's oriented in that angle. All right. Then I think the rest are majorly towards this angle. So this room that should be 900. This okay, that's all right. So I can see something already. These walls are not 300 thick, right? So that's 230 thick. So I already see that I will need to apply something to these doors, right? So since all these doors are internal doors, so I could actually come to the 900 door and adjust this frame thickness by push pulling this. Just push it back to hit this wall, right? And when I do that, it should adjust all of them so that they all fit since they're all internal doors, right? It is wise good to model things as components. See how I just did that and fixed it everywhere. I saw this is a toilet, so I'll pick up this toilet door and we'll still have that same extruding problem because of um you know it's the same wall size we use for everything. All right, so okay, so it makes sense that the door opens that way. So I'm just gonna go ahead and push pull this, right? Touch, right? So fix that. So this door, should this door open this way or this way? It should open the other way. So I think I need to flip this, right? It should open that way. See how I can just easily flip these doors, right? So I think it should open, this should open inwards. All right, so whatever way it should open, it doesn't matter. It's not like I'm going to open the door, right? So not that it doesn't matter, but you can go ahead and um just no need to. You can go ahead. Let me just do that, right? So this door opens it opens inward, right? So this opens inward, does it? No, I don't see that from here. I have to go to schedule. All right, let me go to the schedule. Dot schedule. So from the dot schedule, all right. So this opens inward. This opens inward. Opens inward. Opens inward. So all these doors do open inward. So let me quickly fix that. So this means this one has to have to flip it along the green axis. All right, flip down along the green axis so that it can open inward. All right, so this one also has to open inward. So where it is okay. So I just have to flip it. All right, so the way you know which is inward is this place. There's no space in between here and this, but there's space in here. All right, so the door can't push itself through this, or has can go the other way. So that's the idea of opening inward. All right, so if it's opening towards direction, that means the handle will be here. All right, this as well. This opens not inward. This actually opens outwards, but the handle is in the right place. So I have to move it along the green axis, right? So now if I come, I push the door to open it. So I put this right there. All right. So this two opens inward, correctly placed. All right. That's that for upstairs. So I would hide first floor and think this. So inwards, wall, wall, wall. So okay, 900, 900, 800. All right. So this is the axis I need. That's not the direction it should open, but I think what I can do with this is let me just pick that up and drop that right there. So that's how I need it to be, but it needs to be flipped so that it opens the other way. Oh no, that's actually how it should be, but flipped. Aha. So the same thing goes for the other side. And then this side is now for the 800 door. So this 800 door, I need to move to this place for this toilet. So duplicate, and this should open inward. Aha, yeah, opens inward. So the handle is in the right place, but it needs to be flipped to open inward, right? So of course, like not like I'm going to show anything in here, but I'm just showing you how you can go ahead and put in all your stuffs. All right, so um, I could just group this and make this group. Usually these groupings are necessary. I'll call this ground floor doors, ground floor doors, and I'll call this first floor doors. Make group first floor doors, right? Most of the times you might work alone in this, but if you're working in a rendering an architectural firm or stuff like that, you might want to be intentional with these labels because you don't know who might continue the work you're doing and stuff like that. So um, so that's that, and then I click on this and I make a group out of these groups and I call them internal doors. All right, internal doors. I think that pretty much concludes everything. So if I should turn on the first floor, my doors where it is, and the windows are where they are, right? So for the windows, I could go ahead and separate them into first floor and ground floor windows, right? Make group first floor windows, right? And then I have my ground floor windows. Like these groupings are not, it's not like it's going to change anything in your render. But of course, it can come in handy when you want to do phasing effects. I don't want to explain that, but okay, phasing effects is like those situations you see a building being animated into, you see the floor comes out, the wall comes out, the windows comes out, all those kind of things. That's why this group, that's where this grouping is, can be beautiful, right? So, but currently it's not really adding much to our render. So external doors, then I'm not going to put doors, all right? So I'm just going to make this a group and I'll call it doors. All right, so that's a very good and proper way to group things. All right, so uh, in the next video, we're gonna go ahead and right, so that's the balcony. All right, so in the next video, we'll go ahead and start working on the staircase. All right, so once we are done with the staircase, I might not texture the staircase like I did for these guys and the other things. All right, I might not, I may, I don't know. All right, so but when we are done with that, the next thing I will do, get rid of this. When we are done with that staircase, the next thing we'll do is we'll jump into the rendering, that section C. We'll jump into the texturing, material rendering, and all that. Then when we are done with that, we'll now do some final touch up in our models and prepare for rendering, right? So we're going to render a couple of objects. We're going to go back to the objects we have modeled previously. We're going to use them to do some renderings, all right? So that's after we're done with the staircase. So in the next video, we'll be working on the staircase, and from there, we will go ahead to start the next phase. All right, so thank you so much. If you gain value from the video, please do like and hit the subscribe button. All right, so thank you so much. Bye.